Welcome for everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the second session. First session in the last month, we explained about what's the insatiability of all this gratification. From our six senses, we are taking all the triggers from the world, visual form, sound, smell, taste, and everything, and we are attached these things with the lustfully, hatefully, delusionally. When we are attaching lustfully, hatefully, delusionally, conceptually we are creating some pleasure and unpleasant feeling. All the feelings are in your mind, not given by any external object. That's why we decide if we found the gratification, that means happiness and pleasure from this physical world, no one can gain this happiness and pleasure. That's what happened to us. From childhood up to now, we are running behind all the visual form, sound, smell, taste, and touch, and thought, and everywhere. But if you think about now what we gain from those things, any gratification we have gained, nothing is there. At each and every time we are creating that one, creating, and at the same time it is only a mental fabrication. It is not given by this world. So then we decide this: if we run behind all these stuffs, no one can fulfill our requirement. This is called insatiable. Not the way we want, not the way we fulfill our requirement. It all understood at that day. We discussed a lot of things about the insatiability of this world. Do you remember that what we discussed? Still remember? Insatiability of this world. Right. Now, from that day to up to now, today, that means around 2-3 months you have spent. So while you are in day-to-day life, while you are living day-to-day life, do you experience that insatiability of this gratification? Do you experience anything? Can you explain some? Did you come on first day? No, I think. Okay. You came, I think.
I think so.
Oh.
Because it's like, for example, with finding a job, like, there's things good about the current job. There's always more.
Yeah.
More, let's say, salary, because I want more of that money so I can do more of other things. Or more flexibility, or more interesting projects at work. So I think there is that wantingness for more. And I don't know. And that's the tricky part. It's like,
even if you got this bigger salary, bigger status, and bigger very big job and anything, do you satisfy?
I think at that moment, probably yes. But then once
seem satisfied.
Yeah, seems satisfied.
But really, I'm satisfied.
But I'm sure once I get into that job, there will be other things that I'll be like, maybe I need to get more pay so I can have something else that's more. So I don't think there's an end to it.
Suppose that there is some end. For a month, 1 million salary is enough. Then also you are not satisfied.
Then later I might.
Because the thing is, if you got 1 million per month, it's a money. The money, what you can do? Can you use the money to get the happiness? Suppose that there are very heap of dollars here. Now, can you touch with the eye and get the pleasure by just looking at the papers?
No.
You can hear, smell. No. What we can do, all the money we can use to buy the stuffs. Used to by looking something, hearing something, smelling something, food or touch. So we can only consume visual form, sound, smell and those stuffs only. But money is not a usable thing. We can use money to buy the things what we want. And even though if we use these things, our mind is never fulfilled. Why is that? Suppose that this is a very, very valuable some stuff. Suppose that. Do you have any pleasure or happiness in this? No. In object, there are no any happiness and pleasure. Happiness and pleasures are only a mental fabrication. That's what we discussed that day. Yeah. Since that happiness and pleasure is a mental fabrication, even if you find all the stuff in the world, even though you are not satisfied. Why? That all the stuffs don't have any happiness and pleasure or gratification. That is why still Elon Musk, Bill Gates and those guys also not satisfied in anything. Still they are keep on trying something better than that one. Even if he get anything in the world, no one can satisfy. Why? The way we are going to satisfy is wrong. Way we are going to satisfy, what is the way? We are going to satisfy the six senses by external object. External object, they don't have any happiness and pleasure. So they never gain any happiness and pleasure with this all the external stuffs. That is why we have always unsatisfied. So this whole world is insatiable, never fulfilled. Our gratifications are never fulfilled. We are going behind some visual form, sound, smell, taste and touch. That's all in the world. But there nothing is there. That the stuffs are there, but happiness and pleasure is not within that object. So that's why we are always try to gain something. We are using and try to gain something. At the end of the day, nothing is happened. Very similar to in the morning we are trying to gain some happiness and pleasure, but at the end of the night, finish. Nothing is there. Very similar to mirage. If we see mirage, there's like a water. But if you go further close to that mirage, there are no water. Likewise, this happiness and pleasure is not the external object. It is only within your mind. It is there in your mind. Then if you want any happiness and pleasure, you have to not look at outside, you have to look at inside. Then after understanding of this small concept, your focus is turned into 180 degrees. Earlier we think that, okay, external things there are something, we want to pick these things and get the happiness, like gratification. So now you know there's no anything in that external object. So you are turning your viewpoint to 180. Now you know that within your mind there is a happiness and pleasure, not this external object. Did you follow that one?
But somehow knowing that doesn't stop me from wanting, let's say I want a higher salary, so that, let's say I need that money to pay for something that my grandparents might need to help them do something. Yeah. So my question is more understanding that doesn't stop the wantingness of more things, I think, because of beyond my own happiness.
I got the point. There are two portions. Explain that. Explain.
Aku explain kan. I'll just briefly summarize what Thero was explaining. We basically recaptured what we discussed last time. It's about the insatiability of the world. Insatiability of the world means the world is empty of any pleasure, gratification, or any happiness that we're trying to seek using our 6 faculties. Therefore, the gratification and the pleasure that we are creating by attaching to or obtaining external things is purely a mental fabrication. Because it is a mental fabrication, no matter how much we go after these external things, whether they be objects, people, experiences, situations, opportunities, that is not going to fully satisfy us for the rest of our lives completely. We might feel the pleasure or the happiness and the achievement or gratification just in that moment, but that's never a fully or a complete satisfaction that we get in terms of our 6 faculties. Therefore, we understood this concept that the whole world is insatiable. Insatiable means the world is devoid of that pleasure and the gratification that we're seeking. Therefore, all that pleasure and the gratification is a mental fabrication that we have created internally. So that's just summarizing everything that we discussed before.
Your problem is for any guy or person, there are 2 types of needs. One need is these are to maintain your body and life. So minimum is food anyway you want. Without any, either there are happiness or pleasure or anyway you want whatever food. Some house or something to live, that's a compulsory thing. Clothes, normally people are wearing clothes, so clothes also very, very important. So other thing is medicine. If you get sick, you need medicine. If you have in lay group, not a monk, then you have to feed your parents, and if you have some children, husband, no, you have to feed them. So out of these things, there are another more effort we are giving to satisfy our gratification. Those are basic needs. Without basic needs, suppose that there is no any chair, then how can you sit? If you don't have any bed, then how can you sleep? These are normal need. But out of this, we are always worrying about this gratification, more pleasure. That is not gained by this object. That's in Buddhism. The only gratification part is the problem, not the usage. For essential things we have to use anyway, unless we can't live. We are not talking about the essential goods. Are you okay? So drinking water, having a tea, foods, sleeping, taking bath, robe, and these types of things anyway anyone need. That's not due to some gratification. This is not a happiness and pleasure. It's an essential need. We are not talking about the essential need. We are talking about the more than the essential. We are going for some gratification. That part is mental fabrication. Even though we mentally fabricated, we want food. Unless we can't live. That part is not the gratification. That's what you have to understand. Okay. Do you met any practical example while you are living last few months?
Yeah, so I'm currently I'm not working, so I'm looking for a job. And before the first session, I was so focused on finding a job because I thought that would make me happy. And now I'm still trying to find a job, but I'm learning to accept that I should be happy now without a job or money. So I'm practicing in that sense. And yeah, so now I'm in the state where I'm quite happy with my life, and if I get a job, it would just be extra happiness.
Yes. Yeah. And that extra happiness given by the job or you mentally created?
Actually, it was more so I'm happy now, but getting a job would be like
more happy.
Yeah, more stability. Like it will just add to my life.
Add to my life, your life. Yeah.
But I don't need it.
Yeah. But the job is good. You have to do something. That's okay. But if you get some happiness, that happiness is not given by the job. You are attached lustfully with the job and create the happiness. That's what this is a mental fabrication. So there are some guys are there. They are very unlike to go to job. They're not like. Then job don't have any happiness or unhappiness. Then with anything, if you want happiness, you have to attach lustfully. If you lustfully attach, then happiness is there. That is not in that object or that job or somewhere. It is only a fabrication. Can you understand? Yeah. So that's why we are taking all these gratifications are insatiable. It is not given by object. You can create yourself from mind. Okay. Any application? You?
Just before I answer the question, I think just going back to, was it Jean? I think Jean, like what she was asking, because I was just catching both your question and the answer, was like she understands that like like there's no gratification in the external world. She's making it in her mind.
Yeah.
But you still chase some of those external gratifications. Is that right?
Yeah,
So-
I think so. Like you want more material things because of what it can do. Oh, it's almost like
She's
what?
saying, you're saying you understand why the attachment's there,
Yeah,
but it doesn't stop the attachment.
yeah. It
Or
doesn't.
like doesn't.
It doesn't stop the wanting of those things because of what it can do in the sense of, let's say, if I earn more money, I can give. Let's say I can buy something for my grandma. That will make
Yeah.
her
That's good.
happy.
That's good. Even though you are gaining lot of money and giving the stuffs and give it to grandma,
Yeah.
then also you are creating happy.
Yeah, because I see her happy.
Yeah,
and
her
I will
happy.
be
So you are happy.
So maybe I am still chasing for that happiness.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, yeah. I think it is right. It's like I know it, but I still.
That should be.
I
That
can't
should be.
stop the,
No, you don't stop.
yeah.
That's we also doing, but the thing is, giving the food, so whatever the things to the grandma and mom and dad and whatever the poor people or anyone, anything is good. It's not a bad thing, good thing. But while we are giving, you are creating happiness.
Yeah.
So if that happiness is not the object we are giving or somewhere. So what you have to do, whatever thing, suppose that then you may propose us to giving all the foods and everything to grandma is the main happiness culture or something. But it is wrong. So given the stuff to others is very good thing. But if you think this is the way to be happy always, this is wrong thing. Suppose that after giving your stuff to your grandma, the grandma is blamed you. What's this lady taken? I don't like this one, and you blame. Then what happened? It's not there.
Yeah.
Then all the happiness are gone.
Yeah, that's true.
So the stuff's also given, but no happiness.
Yeah.
So then can you understand that the happiness is if you lustfully attach, only you can create. And that's why we are taking. You give, no problem. That's our rights and good habit. And without attaching, if you can do this everything without attaching, you don't have any suffering. Suppose that if you hope grandma's blessing, then grandma is blaming you. Then, oh my goodness, I spent this much of money and you are now crying. Why is that? You hope some blessing from this grandma. But if you give in without any attachment, you don't lustful or hateful or anything, you just give something.
Yeah.
Why? They need that one.
Yeah, they need. Yeah.
They need. It's obvious. Then grandma is blessing you. Oh, then also you are okay. then grandma is blaming you, then also you are okay.
Yeah.
Then the Buddhism, what they are telling, do anything or you do anything without attaching. The only this attachment is the problem. If you attach something, that is a problem. So from last session, we discussed the fundamental of this attachment. How this lustful, hateful, delusional attachment, and then what it is creation and insatiability of these things, and those we are discussed that day. So from today, we are going to explain how we are using this principle day-to-day need. So when you are in day-to-day life, you have to use this principle. But that day I explained the insatiability. Then with this insatiability, how we practice. This is the initial stage of the meditation. Then meditation, there are two parts. One is go to dhyana. Other things, we all already have some lot of heavy greed, hate and delusion. A very heavy one. With this heavy one, if you do the meditation, you can't go to the dhyana. So before go to the dhyana, samadhi, you have to practice day-to-day 6 months, 7 months, maybe 1 year to that very heavy hateful things, hateful fighting and all this negative thought. All these negative thought have been removed little by little, day by day. Okay. What did you understand?
In terms of insatiability, like let's just say you study, you get your bachelor's, and then you go to a job, and then it's not enough. You do my master's, do your master's, and some people are like, okay, let's go to PhD, and then after PhD, you're postdoc, and it never ends.
Even though you got that one, never satisfied. Yeah, even though you got at the end of this soul, that also never satisfied. Because you are if something you gain, you are getting happy. Yeah, but this happiness is not given by this object, whatever the PhD, MSc or whatever things. Even though there are some people with PhD, MSc and all this qualification, but they are always suffering. Yeah. Then having a PhD or something, it is not solve our problem. Problem is in your mind.
Can you experience your calmness?
Yeah, you also.
Yeah.
Detail
About?
from last discussion.
Yeah.
You're calm and all that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like,
Tell me.
since the last discussion, we focused on like reducing the negative emotion a lot. And so I find like I'm a lot calmer. Like situations that would generally make me angry or upset or something. I think about it and try not to get attached negatively. But also like last time you spoke about the relative happiness.
Relative happiness.
So I had a really good example of that, like in the last 2 weeks actually. So in the business, we did a really good sale, and then I was like, oh, this is great. Like I'm really happy. And then the customer, like for so long, was in pain, and I had to keep following her and chasing her and everything. But I did that without like anger or anything. But like, it's like when you make the sale, you're happy, and then the customer's not paying, and then you're like, I wasn't as upset as maybe before. If we didn't have the last discussion, then I would have really started getting angry and upset and calling her, But yeah, I'm a lot calmer.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Very good experience. Yeah.
Different person.
Yeah. Yeah. What happened is the way of thinking change. Everything happen is same. We can't change the happenings. That's what we have to understand. We can't change the happenings. There may be each and every type. There are multiple way of happenings. We can't predict. If you give the very world best food to your grandma, she may be angry. We don't know. then you will be face such a problem. Everyone is facing. Yeah. You are thinking that this is a very valuable and very best thing. But if you give, he is not worried. Yeah. So that value is not for him or her. So they are not, they say sometimes blaming. Yeah. Because the thing is, we have some set in societies make some standard, but those are not the real things. So if we give something to someone, then sometimes they are happy, sometimes they are not happy. So if you give without attaching, whatever the problem you come to you don't worry. That's why we are telling to eliminate this suffering, misery, you have to eliminate the attachment. If you can attachment. Why we are attached to something? Since it's if somewhere something have some pleasure and happiness, then only we are attached. Then that's why earlier we explained, any external object, they don't have any happy or pleasure. Then no need to attach to any object or person or anything. Even though we are attaching or not, that is there, happenings are happening, we can't control, it's happening. But if you have attached to this thing, then only the suffering comes to you. Then to get rid of suffering, what you have to do? You have to get rid of the attachment. Then this creation of the attachment and cessation of attachment. One side is creating an attachment. How do you create this attachment? We have a lot of, that's called traits, Gati? Traits. Qualities and traits. How do you create that one? Some can be playing music. Some can be riding motorbike, bicycle. There are a lot of abilities are there. We have attached these things. Even though some are our habit and others are attachment. How these attachments are created? Can another explain? How this attachment is created? So you get one attachment and explain how it's happened. Your vehicle or so many.
I like cars.
Cars, yeah.
But I guess in my own head, it's a mental fabrication.
Yeah.
Of course, but the design or the sound. So these things are appealing to the eye, the touch.
And get then at the beginning you have very small amount of attachment, but when you keep on attaching to same thing again and again, what happens? This attachment will grow day by day. Grow. Each and every attachment can be grow. How can you grow? By doing the same attachment in same way. Suppose that if for something, suppose this is a very nice, valuable thing, then very little attachment, very little. Then it's developing, 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's going on. For after 1 month, it's a very heavy, big attachment. Then attachment is the problem. Then we want to detach. How we can detach? We have to reverse the way we attach. That's all. How we attach? We create a small amount of pleasure, happiness, and then we start attaching. And we keep on attaching to this one. Then if you want to detach these things, what we have to do? Little by little, we have to cease these things. little by little. Can you explain?
So we spoke about the insatiability and how we create the gratification and the pleasure through attachment to external things. When you look at attachment, attachment is created in different ways, mainly through your habits and characteristics and traits that you have. So those habits and characteristics and traits create certain tendencies, certain behaviors, and then by using those, the way you behave, you attach to certain things, to the things that you think you really like. And then there are other external things that you use on a day-to-day basis, like say, for example, your example of how you attach to the car, how you attach to your, let's say, your job, or how you attach to your, let's say, a partner or someone. So when you take that one example, the attachment initially, so attachment starts with mental fabrication, looking at something that's external. When you get that external object, what happens is you attach to that external object in a very, I would say, in a very smaller way. It's not a very strong emotion. So initially when you look at that object, you feel the pleasure or the gratification or happiness that you get from that object. And then slowly through using or let's say being with that person or using that object again and again, you feed your gratification, the pleasure, and then through that behavior and engaging in that again and again, giving food for your, let's say, the 6 senses, you attach to that object more and more. When you use that object or the person again and again, because you think you get the pleasure from that object, it creates an immense amount of attachment with that external object, the person, the situation, or the circumstance. And if you don't understand insatiability, you end up thinking that you're getting that pleasure or the happiness from that external force or the situation or the person. Now, what Buddhism teaches is, before we get to that, because of that attachment, what happens ultimately is it creates a lot of suffering, because we're expecting a pleasure from an object or a person that doesn't have anything, and that pleasure is being created in our mindset. Mental fabrication happening inside your mindset, but you think that happiness is coming from that object. Because of that, we keep going after things and people, and then that creates ultimately the suffering down the track. Buddhism teaches how to remove that suffering, the pain that we feel by trying to get pleasure and happiness from external object that doesn't have anything. Exactly the same way we create pleasure and happiness by attaching to external things, what Buddhism teaches is how you remove yourself from suffering because of that attachment is slowly detaching yourself from those external things. Buddhism teaches the way you can practice that detachment, because that detachment from the external world is not something that you can do immediately after understanding insatiability. It has to be done gradually, and that's where 2 practices come into the picture. One is practicing that as a practice along the way while you're living your day-to-day life, practicing that slow detachment from the external things. And then secondly, through meditation, training your mindset to detach from those external things, detachment that you do with the external things, trying to create that gratification or the pleasure. So 2 things. One is through practicing that as a practice throughout the course of your life, day-to-day life, while living or doing your job, living your life. Second of all, by practicing it through meditation. Yeah, that's basically.
Yes, yeah. We all agree with that attachment is the problem. Lustful, hateful attachment, delusional attachment is the problem. If you detach, all the suffering go away. It's no more suffering. If you detach, then what we have to do? We have to look at a way. What's a way to detach from this world? That detachment is not this physical detachment. Nothing physical object to detach. From where we have to detach? Only from mind. You can use everything. Usage is not a problem. usage is for your day-to-day life. But we are talking about the due to this attachment. If you have heavy unskillful. Skillful mean good, unskillful mean bad. Unskillful qualities in you, then what happen? You are always suffering. So now shall we see what to do? Think out of the box. This is my main theme always. Practicing of meditation. There are two parts. Purification of mind. That normally in the world, if you go for any meditation, what they are doing? All the Westerners are mindfulness meditation. All are doing that. If you ask from them, what's your mindfulness? What they are telling? They ask you to keep at the present moment. Don't go past and future, be in the present. That's what they explain. That's what you know, I think, up to now. As a mindfulness, that's what you know. Are you agree? Okay. I'm asking one question from you. Can you keep your mind in present? You can. Can you keep your mind in past? Can you do that one? Can you keep your mind in future? Or hands up the person who can keep your mind in future. Okay, hands up the person who can keep your mind in past. Then you can understand your mind is always only in the present. Then mind is always in the present. If you do any meditation or not, it is there. It is in present only. Can you understand what I'm saying? You can think present about future. You can think present now about past. Then you are always in present only. No one can be future or past. Have you been in future? Have you been in past? No, you are always on where? Only present. Then what their meditation and because either you doing meditation or not, all are in present. Then do you need to do any practices to keep your mind in present? Is that wrong or right? What do you feel?
I mean, I just tend to think just like past is past, like it's happened. Like you shouldn't dwell on it. It shouldn't affect how you act at the moment. And in the future, it's always changing. Like you don't know. Like if you might think of something that's happening before, but it's never like it might not happen at all. So I tend to ground myself in present, and yeah, I don't think too far ahead because it adds too much worries, and focus on the present lets you like enjoy or like take in what you surrounding yourself with right now, and just like live in the moment.
Because our mind is only in the present. What do you feel about mindfulness meditation? Is correct or wrong?
I was more thinking my thoughts could be thinking.
Just wait. Can you explain that?
I'll just recapture what Thero explained just now. So in the Western type of meditation, we mainly focus on mindful meditation. Mindful meditation is keeping your mindset in the present moment. So when you think of your mindset in the present moment, what Thero was explaining was, can your mindset at a given time be in the past and the future or the present? So the first question is, can the mind be in the past in this moment? The answer is no, because your mind is here right now in this moment, in this point of time, and you can't put your mind in the past. The same is the same with the future as well. You can't put your mindset in the future because the mind is as it is now in the present moment. So it doesn't make sense with the mindful meditation, training yourself to keep your mindset in the present moment, because with your mindset, the only thing you can do is be in the present moment. You can think about the future, you can think about the past, but your mindset can't be in either the past or the present. Does that make sense? So on that basis, the whole concept of mindful meditation, being in the present moment, is sort of debunked, and it doesn't make sense because your mind can't be in 3 different places at the same time. It's just in the present moment. You can purely think about future or purely think about the past while your mindset is in the present moment. Does that make sense?
Suppose that if someone is practicing the mindfulness and if you fulfill this mindfulness, what happens? He or she can only think about now the present moment. Then if he or she want to go home, then how can we think about home? The present time, there are no home. So suppose that one guy or someone he come to this program. Then if someone is mindful, the only present moment is you can have a data. Then you can't think about the past. When you want to go to home, what you are doing? You are thinking, where's my home? And you put in the Google. And if you think about the home, it's a past thing. Present now, it's not there. If you want to go to eat something, you don't know what to eat. Why? All the data are in past life, past thing. Since you know this earlier, we have eat these things, we are eating. If you keep only the present moment, you are in your mind, then what happens? You don't even want to eat. So all these memories go away. It is not a Buddhist way. In Buddhist way, what we are doing? There are some impurities in your mind, impurities, dirty, dust, mud. Those are, we are cleaning this, purification. Purification of mind is meditation. The purification, all these dirty have been made up of lust, hate, delusion. Lust, hate, delusion, greed, hate and delusion. From these 3 things that mind will polluted. The purification of this pollution is called meditation. Does that make sense or not? The mindfulness meditation is correct or wrong? What do you feel? What do you feel? So, what do you feel?
I have questions.
Yeah.
Because when you said our mindset can only be in the now, like what does that actually mean? Because I can sit here, I know I can hear the sound, I can make sense of the words you're saying, but I can also think about what happened yesterday, and I can also think about, tonight I need to be somewhere at 6:30, I need to get home at a certain time. So my question is more, what does it mean by your mindset can only be in the now? Is it beyond thoughts? Because when I think about my mind, it's a bunch of thoughts and memories and future plans and my current feelings about what I'm feeling. So I think that's I'm a bit confused.
You are thinking about future. Suppose that today at 6 o'clock, what happened? You are thinking about now. You are thinking now. You are thinking now about future. You are thinking now about past. Then your thought is always, mind is present. Can you follow?
You're explaining. So what Thero is saying is, your mindset is right now processing. The processing happens right now. Yes, you are thinking about the future. Yes, you are thinking about the past, but your mindset hasn't gone to either the future or the past. Your mind's being processed in the present moment, thinking about the future and the past. That doesn't mean that your mind is in the future or in the past. Your mind is right now here in the present moment. It's just that you're having thoughts about the future and the past. Does that make sense?
Good point.
I'll have a think about it.
And then what did you say about how the what's it called? The
Purification.
Impurity.
Yes. Like why do mindfulness?
Mindfulness.
How does that relate?
The mindfulness is a wrong concept. Wrong concept
Yeah.
created by this Westerner.
Okay.
Yeah. The Satara Satipatthana, they have understand wrongly, wrong way. That's not a true. No one can do that one. If someone is practicing this very thoroughly, then he is get upset. Why? You forget and you remove all the senses about past and future. Then you don't know where, if you want to go to the toilet, you don't know where is toilet. You are only can keep your mind in now. Then if you go to the Woolworth to buy some foods, but you don't know where you have to go. Then if you go to the Woolworth, you have to think with the past data. With the past data, we are thinking now. Without past data, you can't think. We should have past data. It's a must.
So you're trying to say that being mindful is forgetting the past and not thinking about the future. That practice can drive you crazy or something.
Yeah, that's wrong. Well, what we have to do about future, about past and present, you have to remove all the lust, hate and delusion. If you remove the lust, hate and delusional attachment, then you have a very cool mind. Then you can think any amount of future, past and present and anything you can do. But if you for other practices are, some are practicing, some people practicing the focus into the mind is focus into somewhere. Suppose that if you have some mind, you can focus into this nose end. Then what's the purpose of that one? Useless practice, no? But what's our problem? Our problem is your mind is polluted with the lust, hate and delusion. That's your main issue. That's how you are suffering. If the hate comes to you, that negative thought comes to you, are you feel very happy, joy? Oh, it's very difficult. Then anyway, you have to remove this hateful thought. That's what you have to practice. Then that's fair enough to have some funny life. Unless you are suffering. Even though you are practicing present moment and mindfulness, then they are not gain anything. You can do something, but it's not gain the proper thing. Okay.
Yeah. So going back to mindfulness and being in the present moment, because what that does is it stops you from going your emotions or feelings or thoughts towards either the future or the past, trying to bring your mindset into just the present moment. What it does is it might, if you practice it really strictly, it might even stop you from remembering things or being able to sort of recall your memory and things like that. The focus in Buddhist meditation is, what we are trying to do is not trying to forget about the future the past, or not try to think about the future. What we try to do is we try to remove greed, also known as lust, hate and delusion, 3 things. As long as we remove greed or lust, hate and delusion from the way we think, what happens is your mind becomes really calm and mind becomes really focused on the things that you should be focusing on, and the sufferings go away from your life. So when you practice the meditation, the Buddhist meditation that we're about to show you and take you through, it doesn't put your mindset, we don't regard it as putting your mindset in the present moment. It's just you remove those 3 things that I just mentioned, and that way you live your life, you remember your past, you remember your future, you plan your future, and you remember your past deeds, but you don't attach to the things that happen in the past, things in the present, or things that are going to happen in the future through greed, lust, or delusion. The quicker you reduce your attachment to the external things, the past, the future, and the present through greed, hate, and delusion, the easier you'll be able to live your life, because your mindset becomes, like Thero explained, a very calm one, because your mind is not bogged down by these unnecessary three different types of attachment. And that's a slow process. It's a process that you need to take up very slowly, which you can practice through meditation. And that's why Buddhist meditation is completely different from any other system of meditation or any other Western type of meditation that teaches you mindfulness.
I've got a good example for you in terms of like always being in the present, like your mind's in the present. It's like that computer over there, right? Like there's a hard drive with like files in the past and then possible future actions as well. But the system's always writing in the now, or like a program, right? It could pull stuff from the back, from the memory, or it could like predict future actions or outcomes, but it's always writing right
now only.
Now it's always writing the script.
Present only, yeah.
So it's kind of like that. It's like your mind's like always writing right now, but it could pull stuff from the past or predict stuff in the future. But it's always doing it currently.
The mental fabrication process is only now, only present. Yeah.
Yeah, because also like you can't, like let's say we rewind this talk by a minute, right? You can't take your current state of mind to 1 minute ago. You can only process what you're processing now. You can't take it to a minute future from now or even 10 seconds future.
What if you have memory loss? Would you be?
It's like a hard drive.
Hard drive.
Hard drive's gone.
Hard drive failure.
Like you forgot about everything.
Would that be better?
Huh?
That would be better, right? I mean,
No.
no, you can start back again from.
No, never.
It's still there, like
Yeah, all the memories are there.
Hatred, they're all there. That's why.
Memories are there.
Memory loss, you take out
Come back
everything.
here, but you could
do
do
new
again.
things with the delusion.
Ah, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But we can practice, right?
Temporarily,
What Thero was saying to practice.
or temporarily you are out of these all the practices, but again later on it's come.
Ah, yes.
It's a karma vipaka.
Permanent dementia.
Permanent dementia or something. Okay. Then we have to think about what occupied by the mind. The mind. This is also mentioned in the Tripitaka. I took some example from Tripitaka. What's the meaning of Tripitaka? In Buddhist, Lord Buddha's preaching, all the preachings have been written in the books. In that book, there are some guidelines are there. So we have to take this from Sutta Central website. Numbered discourse, the chapter on what occupies the mind. Can you read someone?
So I have heard at one time the Buddha was saying near Swasti in Jetha's Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. There the Buddha addressed the mendicants, "Venerable Sir," they replied. The Buddha said this, "Mendicants, I do not see a single sight that occupies a man's mind like the sight of a woman. The sight of a woman occupies a man's mind. Mendicants, I do not see a single sound that occupies a man's mind like the sound of a woman. The sound of a woman occupies a man's mind. Mendicants, I do not see a single smell that occupies a man's mind like the smell of a woman. The smell of a woman occupies a man's mind. Mendicants, I do not see a single taste that occupies a man's mind like the taste of a woman. The taste of a woman occupies a man's mind. Mendicants, I do not see a single touch that occupies a man's mind like the touch of a woman. The touch of a woman occupies a man's mind."
That's what Lord Buddha is telling. Are you agree? This is for a man. If you go for woman, the man is the main thing. In this whole world, most attractive, most attachable, there are very tendency to attach girls and boys. This is the main core concept of this whole universe. Suppose that if you all born, why? Your mom and dad, they have either married or living together. Then what they are doing? Suppose that father is very loving to your mom's figure, sound, smell, taste, that and blah. She also other way around. And then body and touch. It's called sexual things also. Then only all this world is, all these beings are there. So this is the main attachable things in the world. Main, more severe tendency to attach these boys and girls, the two different gender. If you think of this, is it okay or not? To maintain these things, this is the main internal core. To make this one, to get this gratification from these girls and boys, this type of things, this is the main core inside. There are some outside. You have to go to school. It's the outside thing. No one don't want to go to school. Do you like to go to school? No. Then you want to go pass the exam. Then you want a job. You want money. You want a house. Then lot of things are coming around this one. These all are outer things that support to this one. This is the main gratification in the world. For a guy, girl. For a girl, guy. Other all stuffs are these are supportive item. This is the main core. Are you all okay, agree, or you to think? Don't take, you think. This is the main core in our whole existence. Our whole existence is based on this one. This Lord Buddha tell, but if he's, even though he tell or not, you all know about all the guys are always, you are doing something. You may become a very rich man or something. If you think, what's the secret behind that one? To gain these 5 senses gratification. That's the main aim. Even Sigmund Freud is telling the same thing. Sigmund Freud also telling the same thing. Sigmund Freud's psychology, I have learned psychology, they are also mentioning the same thing.
Okay, so according to the Tripitaka is the Pali Canon, which is the sacred book in Buddhism. So according to the Lord Buddha's teachings, he teaches the strongest type of attachments we have, in the sense by way of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. So the 6 senses, the strongest type of attachment we have in the world is what man has towards a woman and what a woman has towards a man. So that's the core at the end of the day when you think about all our attachments. So the core is the woman's attachments to a man, man's attachment to a woman. Everything else that we do in terms of earning money, going to school, going to university, getting a degree, building a house, driving a car, or earning other things, that's all for the purpose of maintaining that core, which is that basic attachment that men and women have towards each other. At the end of the day, if you go back to your birth, how you're born into the world, that's because of a relationship that 2 genders would have had between them, which goes to sexuality at the end of the day. So that is the basis, the strongest attachment, even according to Buddhism. Everything else, we are so caught up with everything else that we do in terms of our jobs, earning money and other things. But if you break it down bit by bit, go to the real essence of it, ultimately the depth, the core is that attachment that we just mentioned here. Does that make sense?
So is this a necessary attachment or unnecessary?
Which one?
This,
All the attachment are unnecessary one.
but, okay.
But this is the most probability. Most probability to this one.
I understand that, right? So
Yeah.
we said that you need to eat,
Ah.
you need to sleep
Ah.
as a human.
Ah.
Would you argue that this is part of the evolutionary process of being a human as well? You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like a necessity to.
Yeah, these are necessary things, not attached to this one.
So this one's necessary.
Yeah, these are for everyone, foods and sleeping, and those are either we attach or not we won't.
Yes.
And this is called most attachable things.
But isn't like a woman and man that relationship as a necessity as well?
Because it's evolutionary, like to
No, yeah, that is how this world is going on. But in Buddhism, what we are doing, we are detaching from this one. I'm explaining the principle. So then this is the main, most probable things to attach. Then when you are going detaching, cessation, what we have to do? We have to detach from this one. Most attachable thing, we have to detach. Then other small things, those are nothing. The detach mean you don't mean that not a using. We are using these things without attachment. Usage is not a problem, anything.
Like a manusakama and devakama.
Yeah.
ඒකෙන්ද දැන් මල්ලි හන්නේ අර දැන් මූලික අවශ්‍යතාවයක් වගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නේද මේකත් කියලා ඒක හැබැයි
this is not like a fundamental need. So without food you can't live. Without attachment you can live. The attachment is optional. This attachment also optional. But from all this attachment, this is the biggest one. That's why that in the world there are a lot of fighting each other. What's the main things? Those are the things. Yeah. That's the main thing. There are other things also. Some are attached to the money, some are attached to a car, some are attached to a house, some are attached to land, some are attached to power. These all things are in outer circle. That also there. But this is a main core. For each being, for existence. For our existence, this is the main core. So from there we have to detach.
So does that mean a woman and man relationship can't exist without any attachment? Like physical, just physical. And would it always be an attachment? Like
With the attachment, with the attachment only. With the attachment only. Yeah. Without attachment, they are after become arahat, they are not getting.
I mean, I'm talking about women and men relationship.
No, that's only with attachment.
Say that physically we are.
Yeah. Sexual and those things, those are only with attachment.
It has attachment.
It's different to, like, say for example, it's, say for example, the basic needs like having a roof over your head, food, air, water. That's something that you can consume. Even to answer your question, Malik, they're the things that you can consume without having any attachment, because they're just for the basic existence in your day-to-day life. Otherwise you will die without those things. But this main attachment that we're talking about here, it will come from some form of attachment, that sexuality between a man and a woman. And then the other thing is, because it is so strong, what Thero is saying, that's the core. Once you break that, breaking everything else around you becomes easy. It's quite easy. However, it's different from wanting water, wanting food or anything for the purpose of your existence only. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I think it's because it's essential thing for the reproduction and everything, so we get confused that it is an essential thing or it is not an essential thing.
People do have needs and wants.
Yeah.
At a certain age.
Yeah, certain age. Yeah.
If you don't have needs, then you won't be human.
Yeah.
So it's for the purpose of the existence, for the being, it is the reproduction is important, but it's not what he's trying to say.
But reproduction in the sense is not the reason that men and women are attracted, right?
No.
Physical need.
No.
Isn't that a physical need?
Isn't that a physical need? Reproduction is a byproduct of that. Like physical attraction. Yeah.
No, the sexual is not a physical need. It's a mental need.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's purely created because of something.
Suppose that
With that and this, that's what happened. I think.
or if you think that one guy is there, his mom is close to he mom or as elder sister or someone, she don't feel anything. But this guy is there. If there some another unknown girl, then she may feel some sexually. But for a mom or elder sister or younger sister, or daughter, they don't feel. Then this is totally psychological. If it's a biological, then for everyone they should feel.
But didn't that happen in the early stages of the evolution?
No.
Those kind of things?
No, the thing is that's wrong concept.
Okay.
Evolution is not the way that you are. You are Darwin evolution.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
the
where-
early stages of humankind. You say.
Before developing the brain to this level?
Would they not?
No. The way is it's a totally different subject. Because the way the scientists are explaining and real thing is different. That's another subject to discuss. Okay.
Wait, so ideally, no one should have kids.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Go on.
The other thing I was thinking at the same time, what if everyone understands this and if they all stop reproducing kids, what will happen to the world? I don't know.
It's never happened. It's never happened.
What should we do?
It is never happened.
No, like what if it was me, what should I do right now? You know,
No, you have to understand.
yeah.
But I am not telling anything to do.
Yeah. But I
If you take earlier, the Buddhism is always telling you to do something.
Yeah.
Then you are taking some flower and those things and dhan and those things going here and there and some works are there.
Yeah.
In real Buddhism, you have to only understand.
Okay.
According to the understand, you have to live.
But from my understanding of this
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
then to break this greatest attraction, you should have kids or nothing. You know what I mean?
No, even with this attachment, you can make a kids. That's not a problem. For so on, Sakadagami, you can make a kid. Anagami, even you can make a kid.
So it's a gradual process, Manli. So in Buddhism, what happens is just like you understood anicca, right? You understood anicca the other day when we had the discussion. But that didn't mean that you abandoned everything, right? You just lived your life with that driving force of anicca understanding. And then it took you away from suffering. Exactly the same way you understand this core principle, right? But that doesn't mean you detach yourself from it completely, because no one can do that.
Yeah.
You live through your life, you might have a relationship, you might have kids, you might have sex, whatever you want to have to do, but you do that with this understanding. And once you go down the path, whatever the detachment that gradually happens to get you away from this will happen slowly. You can't just suddenly, remove yourself from
Shut
it.
down everything. You can't do.
Okay.
You can't do that one. If you shut down everything, you will confuse more than earlier. Yeah, you have to gradually understand. Yeah. So now what we are doing, we understand the Dhamma. Dhamma means the way it is happening. So normally all these guys are mostly like to the girls. Most girls are guy. That's a normal distribution, in science. That's a normal happen. Most of the time. Then if you go to
Mendicants, I do not see a single sight that occupies a woman's mind like the sight of a man. The sight of a man occupies a woman's mind. Mendicants, I do not see a single sound that occupies a woman's mind like the sound of a man. The sound of a man occupies a woman's mind. Mendicants, I do not see a single smell that occupies a woman's mind like the smell of a man. The smell of a man occupies a woman's mind. Mendicants, I do not see a single taste that occupies a woman's mind like the taste of a man. The taste of a man occupies a woman's mind. Mendicants, I do not see a single touch that occupies a woman's mind like the touch of a man. The touch of a man occupies the woman's mind.
That means vice versa. That one. Here that in Tripitaka this greed and hate and delusion. If I ask from you, from greed, hate and delusion, what's the biggest impurity, biggest mind impurity, the biggest greed, hate,
Negative.
what's the more negative things, more bad thing? Greed, hate or delusion. Here, shall we discuss this one and you can get this idea.
Mendicants, if wanderers of the religions were to ask, there are these three things. What three? Greed, hate and delusion. These are the three things. What's the difference between them? How would you answer them? Our teachings are rooted in the Buddha. He is our guide and our refuge. Sir, may the Buddha himself please clarify the meaning of this. The mendicants will listen and remember it. Well then, mendicants, listen and apply your mind well. I will speak. Yes, sir, they replied. The Buddha said this. Mendicants, if wanderers of other religions were to ask, there are these three things. What three? Greed, hate, and delusion. These are the three things. What's the difference between them? You should answer them. Greed, Reverend, is mildly blameworthy, but slow to fade away. Hate is very blameworthy, but quick to fade away. Delusion is very blameworthy and slow to fade away.
I took this concept to some chart. So that's very easy to understand for you to keep in mind. Greed is middle, blameworthy, slow to fade away. If the greed, lust is fade away very slowly. But this is a middle, blameworthy. What's the meaning of that one? If you go to the next one, you can understand. If you go to the hate is very blameworthy, but quicker to fade out. If you get angry, very quickly is fade out, but that effect is very high. Very blameworthy means, what's the meaning of blameworthy? It harm you lot. Blameworthy means, what's the meaning of blameworthy? What's the meaning of blameworthy? Blameworthy.
The damage that
Or damage and destroy lot. That hate is very damageable, very heavy damageable. But it is very quickly fade out. Because when the anger and hate comes to you, you are very burning. It's very difficult. So very quickly is fade out. But for lust, greed, it's very pleasurable. But it's not a very big effect on you. But it is fade out slowly. So lust is, greed is better than hate. Hate is very worse. Okay. If you go to the delusion, very blameworthy, slow to fade out. If someone is delusional, he's not wise enough to, the wisdom is very less. If someone is delusional, then he can't detach very easily. It's very difficult. Yeah. This chart is very important if you want to get a photo or something. Yeah. I can send this all the presentation to you later on. I can give it. Oh, is it okay?
Yes.
All the got the your all point. Then when you are given up the things, mainly this delusional mean if you don't know the insatiability of this gratification, it is called delusion. If you know the insatiability of gratification, happiness and pleasure, then you don't have this delusion. The word delusion means avidyava, not to think in correct way. If you know the gratification is insatiable, then your delusion go away. Now you know all the gratifications are insatiable. Then you have to cease hate. The hate is a one word, but there are all the negative thoughts. Hate is a one category of thoughts. Hate is a one category. So shall we see what are those categories? Purification of mind up to trance. Trance means dhyana. Up to trance. To understand this principle, you have to understand some small things. There are 7 chakras in your body. Have you heard about chakra? There are 7 chakras in your body. All the chakras, there are some chakra test in Google. If you do this chakra test, they are given this kind of results. Root chakra, sacral chakra, navel chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye and crown. Why I am explaining these things? So, whatever your inside hateful thought category, it is very, very difficult to find you. So, if you do this chakra test, you can take this results. Very easy to take this results. There are 50 questionnaires. From this questionnaire, they are reading your mind. Either you are hateful person, or delusional person, or lustful hurt, or what's your inner mind. They are reading about your inner mind. Then they are giving this kind of whatever this is an example, like a chart. Then with this chart, you can understand that there are 7 chakras. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are from bottom to along your spinal cord. These are all the chakras up to here. So if your root chakra, this is root chakra. First chakra is this chakra is giving you support. Deal with survival. That means survival means it's a day-to-day need. You want to go to the school, you want to go to the university, you want to go to the shopping, work, and you want to go to get very good salary, and you want to go to get your promotions. And these are your day-to-day survival things. So if this chakra is blocked by fear, if your mind full of fear means it is a hateful thing or lustful thing. Fear, hate. If you get fear, what happens? You are burning, negative thought, negative sensation. If your root chakra, first chakra is blocked by fear, then your survival problems come to you. If your root chakra is totally blocked, in your mind there are a lot of fear in you. That means negative thought, like a hateful thought. Fear. If the fear is there, then always when you go to even work, exam, some promotion or interview or work or workplace or everywhere, someone is very fear, it's very difficult to go there and do the things. You don't take any challenges, and they are what happens? They are going down, 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 day by day. They are going down. If your root chakra is blocked.
What does survival mean then?
survival means day to day need survival ජීවිතේ මොකද පැවැත්ම existence එකේ.
Yeah, because I thought like fear is good for survival because if you're like it stops you from maybe getting into a dangerous situation.
No, this is for the go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So suppose that if you want to face to some very new things, creation and everything, fear you should be fearless. Fear it is very no problem for fear for the unnecessary thing. Suppose unnecessary thing you should have fear, but if you have lot of fear, when you go to the exam, you are fear. Then what happened? Then the papers come to here, you are shaking. Then you are thinking all the anything is not come to your mind. If you go to the interview, you are very fear. Then what happened? You can't face properly. Then when you go to the job, you can't do the job properly if you have too fear. If fearless, you can do anything. You can get challenge and do whatever the thing. The fearlessness is very good thing. Then if you are so very lot of fear, the survival mean day to day need, day to day you are work, job, family, friends, deal with friends and all the things, survival. Can you explain?
Just a chakra. So we have, like Thero explained, there's all these chakras that we have in our system, in our energetic body. The first one is the one that deals with the survival, which is the root chakra. With the root chakra, if the root chakra is blocked, what happens is you have fear in terms of survival. So fear in terms of survival is you're always anxious, fearful, and shaking in terms of facing situations in life with regards to work or facing an exam or an interview, even about, let's say, your fundamental needs of, oh, how am I going to get my paycheck today, or whether I will be able to get my basic needs. All those fears are basically going down to the fear that you will feel, and that will block your root chakra. Another thing is a fear when it becomes, it's very different to what you mentioned, Mali, that fear is not a tangible fear. That's just like a survival instinct, like that would, like your system will alert you to step away from like if a person is trying to shoot you, you'll step away from that sort of situation. But that's not the fear that we're talking about. This fear is a very tangible fear, fear that impacts your root chakra. So that fear is categorized as hate in Buddhism. So hate is one of the things that we spoke about initially. Hate is really negative. It's easy to be, it's felt very negatively, but it is easy to be removed. And then the other chakras go up exactly the same way. But I think once you start removing the fear, that means you remove a lot of your hatred from your life, and that will lead you towards the path that Buddha has taught you. And that will also help you with awakening your lower chakra, which will enable you to face situations without fear, with confidence, and with a lot of trust in yourself.
Second chakra is deal with pleasure and is blocked by guilt. If someone have guilt, lot of guilt, he or she don't have pleasure. For a pleasure, there should be pleasure. For the pleasure, guilt is the blocking by guilt. Deal with willpower and is blocked by shame. And deal with love and is blocked by grief. Deal with truth and is blocked by lie. Deal with insight and blocked by illusion. Deal with pure cosmic energy and is blocked by earthly attachment. So what we have to do, we have to achieve these left side things, we have to get rid of these things in your mind. Firstly, fear, shame, guilty, grief, lie, illusion, and these things. From these first three things, first and second and third. This shame, fear, guilty, you have to remove. This is all a hateful attachment. So these three you have to detach for when you in a day-to-day life. But from 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th you can do at the meditation. When you doing the meditation, you are doing the dhyana, then it is very easy to remove these things. But this shame, fear, guilty, these are hateful attachment. This hateful attachment you have to remove before you are doing the meditation. If you before you doing the meditation, day to day life, this all the triggers are come to you. When these triggers come to you, or if there's no any trigger, you have to artificially you have to say create the situation and do this anyway. Fear and shame and guilty, this hateful thing, anyway you have to get it, because these things make you lot of problems. Your survival problem, pleasure problem, and willpower is very less. If you are very willpower, pleasure and survival pressure problem is not there, you are very happy. So to take this willpower, pleasure and survival, you have to get rid of this shame and fear and guilty. I will explain how to take this out. It also mentioned in Buddhism.
Yeah, so after the root chakra, then there comes the next two chakras. So the bottom three chakras, blockages in relation to the bottom three chakras mainly go to hateful thoughts. That's identified in Buddhism. So the more you attempt in removing fear, guilt, shame through day-to-day activities and day-to-day practices, what happens is it helps you with removing hatred as well from your life. Once you remove hatred, which is removing fear, guilt and shame, the bottom three chakras become unblocked. Once the bottom three chakras are unblocked, what happens is you can go to the dhyana meditations quite easily. And then through the dhyana meditation, the next step is dealing with grief, lies, illusion, and earthly attachments. So that's the second step. But the first step is the most important step, because that's where a lot of us would be stuck in. Exactly the same way fear, once you remove fear, it helps you with survival. Once you remove guilt, guilt can have so many, I would say so many faces to it, not just that pure guilt you feel. So once you remove that guilt, you'll be able to enjoy the life and feel the pleasure as it is. So that's opening your second chakra. And then once you remove shame from your life, what will happen is it will help you with opening your third chakra, which will help you with willpower. And then that takes you slowly from hatred, from negative mindset to a positive mindset. And then your hatred is removed. So how you remove hatred and how you unblock your three chakras is not mainly through meditation, but through day-to-day practices. You either encounter situations in your life and face these situations and slowly and gradually remove shame, guilt and fear, depending on the type of situation you've encountered, or create the situations artificially so that you can face those situations, test yourself and remove fear, guilt, shame, and open your chakras, so that will enable you to step into the second step of doing the meditation, the dhyana practices, which will help you with the top chakras.
Emotional frequency chart. There are some video about emotional frequency chart. Shall we go to this is the emotional frequency chart. If you can take this one photo and keep this YouTube video is very nice for the to understand this emotional frequency chart. Okay. Because this is this emotional frequency chart. These are EEG frequency. Suppose that if someone, do you know what's EEG? Some small instrumenta hold in here and there and take the frequency of our mind. It's called EEG frequency. If you take this EEG frequency and emotion, there are some relationship. This is this relationship. If you read from bottom to top, can you read from bottom to top?
Shame. So the frequency 20 shame, frequency 30 guilt, 50 apathy, 75 grief, 100 fear, 125 desire, 150 anger, 175 pride, 200 courage, 250 neutrality, 310 willingness, 350 acceptance, 400 reason, 500 love, 540 joy, 600 peace, and then 700 plus enlightenment.
If you take from these things, what's the good side, top or bottom? If you look at that, what's a good one, top or bottom? Suppose that if someone is in very top, 700, someone is 220, who is the good one? Very happy person, who is the happy person? 221 or 700 one? We have to try. First of all, you have to check where you are. From this chart, you have to check where you are. To do that one, you can use this chakra test. From chakra test, you can take some idea. And you can see where you are by doing the chakra test. Then from that, he or she want to go up or down. Huh? To have a better life, you have to go to the top or bottom. You have to go to top. When you go to top, suppose that, shall we see what happened? I match these things with the Buddhism and see what happened. Up to this 150, anger, up to that one, all the emotion below is hateful illusion. Hate. From 175 to 540 is greed. Greed. From 600 means absence of greed, hate and delusion. In this chart, this is a science chart, but delusional thought, they can't quantify. So that's not there in. So we can take greed and hate only from this science chart. But if you go to peace means if someone is in greed zone, that means 175 to 540. If someone is in the top of this joy, love, then he's always in happy mode. If someone is below than 150, is always in hateful thought and negative thought. For all these negative thoughts are belonging to shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, and those things. All these negative, jealousy, that there are some jealousy, negative thought. There is also negative thought. What are the? Hate, jealousy, fear, sad, misery, all the things in here. So what you have to do? You have to do this chakra test, and then you can get the where are you. You may be somewhere in between somewhere. Then from there you have to climb up. So for each and every person, fear and shame and guilt may be for different things. For some people are very fear to dog. Some are very fear to cockroach. Some are very fear to worm, earthworm or someone. Some are very fear to speech in front of some people, social phobia. Likewise, there are for each different type of thing, this same fear, guilty, apathy, grief, this one may be changed. So from here to onward, each people have to do your own way. Suppose that he is fear to dog, you are fear to cat. Then what you have to do? For a dog, his fear. Then his fear is 100. If you take the dog, he is in 100 scale. So from 100, he has to go up, up and up. I will tell how to practice this one. First of all, we have to understand this data. After go to this piece, 600, 700 mean first, second, third, fourth, trance, dhyana. Have you heard about dhyana? We are chanting and karmasana and doing the samadhi. Have you heard that? Samadhi, dhyana, trance. Have you heard any word? Trance. Trance means dhyana. The state of mind. Very high one. But before go to this trance, first, second, third, fourth trance, you have to be in between this area. In between this area. Suppose that your mind is very below. Then this type of mind can't reach to this dhyana. Before doing dhyana, what you have to do? You have to remove your all, especially hateful thought. If you have hateful thought, that means you are at the very bottom. It will get more than maybe 3, 4, 6 months to get rid this. You are all these heavy hateful thought. First you have to remove the hateful thought, and then you can just remove, go to up to and have a love, joy. Suppose for him, if he look at some dog, he is very fear. Then what you have to do? You have to that fear convert into the love, joy and peace. Then only he can go to the dhyana. If you are in bottom, your vibration is very low vibration, negative vibration, then all things happen inside your mind will become a very dull, very negative always. So we have to convert this negativity to positive, even love, joy, and then only you can go to the top and do the dhyana. If someone is very bottom, you are very dull. If you go to the top, you are okay. Then you have to find your own problem, because we don't know what it is. But if you do this chakra test, you can take some idea where I am, because you are giving the answers to their problem. Then they are reading your mind. You are fearful one, or shameful one, or you have some guilty, or you are joyful one. If you can face to any problem, and they are asking about 50 questions, and they are reading your mind, and they are categorizing. Then from these results, then you can think just to take some idea to where I am. Then from that place you have to go climb up. Up to how much you can go, that much of happiness is there.
So this is the emotional frequency chart. The chart, it's not part of Buddhism, but that chart helps us to connect our emotions with Buddhism and how we should go up the ladder in Buddhism. This identifies all our emotions according to the frequency. As Thero has explained, the bottom bit is what can be categorized as hate in Buddhism. And as soon as you get to 175 up to 540, that's greed. That means that's mostly positive vibes, also referred to as greed in Buddhism. The way each one of us will lie somewhere in that chart in one of those frequencies at some point of time in our lives. We can fluctuate between the frequencies, but we will have one might be in, let's say, pride, one might be in fear. The way we can identify each person's frequency is by using the chakra test. There's a chakra test that Thero showed to you earlier. So when you answer those questions, the answers in the chakra test will show you the blockages and the problems you have. And if someone is having fear in their life, that what that means is that person lies as 100, which is more so in hateful thoughts. So in Buddhism, what happens is if you are constantly in hateful thoughts, which is towards 150 and below, that's not gonna help you with going up the, let's say, the trances, the meditation. Because to get to the meditation practices, initially you need to remove these. So first of all, you need to identify where your emotions lie by using the chakra test. Once you identify your emotions, if you lie somewhere in hateful thoughts, you just have to practice things day to day to remove those hateful thoughts. And then you jump to greed, which is starting from 175 to 540. Then you live in that mindset. Then once you get to, let's say, through practices, you get to 600, which is peace, it becomes easier for you to go into the first, second, third, and the fourth trances, which is the Buddhist meditation. If you do have issues which Thero has categorized as hate, it becomes very difficult for you to go to the trances that are on top, because your mindset is always lying somewhere below, down there in the low frequencies. But whereas if you have, through practices, brought your mindset to a higher frequency, let's say 500 up, it makes it easier for you to get to the first, second, third, and the fourth trances, to train your mind through the trances, through the meditation, to be free of hate, greed, and delusion. Does that make sense?
If you consider about this hate and greed, what's the main biggest unskillful qualities? Unskilled qualities mean bad qualities. If someone have hate or greed, hate. So anyway, we have to go beyond 175. When you practicing something, suppose that for a dog, if someone is fear to dog, then we have to take a real dog and we have to keep somewhere 10 feet away from this guy and ask him to just go toward the dog. And when you go some close to that dog, he may feel very fear and you are burning. Then what you have to do? You have to stop. Then what you do? You can take deep breath. 3, 4, 5 deep breaths. Very slowly you have to take it and take it out, take out. Then that all these difficulties go away. Then wait some time. Then what you have to do? Go more further. 1 feet and see again he is burning. Then what you have to do? You have to again breathe in. Then further we have to go close to dog. Then while it is going and if he can touch this dog, then when it is going to that much of time, earlier there are a lot of hate, that means burning, negative thought. That all the negative thought become negative to neutral. Here neutrality 250. At one stage is called the neutrality. From neutrality to go to the neutrality, you should have courage. Is courage. If you don't have courage, you are not practicing this one. Then only you are courage. Then you removing all this bottom fear and shame and things, and you can go top up to neutral. That means he's not burning and he's neutral. Then willingness comes. Willingness means desire. Small desire comes. Then acceptance. He's accepting these things because little by little, his fear is fade out. That means hateful thought are fade out. Then he got the idea what is happening. Then if he can go to the close to that dog and he touch dog, and then after reason out, he become earlier he is hate. Now he is loving to the dog, loving and joy. Then he is enjoying this one because lot of people they are enjoying the dog. The presence of dog is very joyful, but some are hateful. Hateful means they are fear. That fear he had to remove. For one example, I tell, because whatever your problem, you have to think of what you have your hateful thought. It may be shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, whatever, jealousy. Maybe whatever the negative things, you have to face to that one gradually. When you face to that one, you may feel fear very heavy. What you have to do? You have to take breathe out and breathe in, breathe out, and then you have to remove these all the things. And then by training your mind, your hate is very difficult, it is go away from your mind. This is a training. Suppose that you all have license. You have license to drive vehicle. How do you take that one? At the very first day, when you go to the train in the driving, are you very happy? First day? Are you very happy or very anxious? Huh? Very fear. When you go and take a seat in the front of the vehicle, you are maybe shaking. Why is that? Your fear. Your fear is very high. Then after 1, 2, 3, 4 days, what happened? Little by little, it is go away. When you keep on practicing, that fear will vanish, fade out. But if you are not practicing, that fear is never go out. Can you understand? Have you practiced the swimming? At the first day, you go and put in the deep water. Then what happens? You can't do anything. What they are doing? Gradually, they are training to the mind also. Then when you are training the swimming, really who's getting the training? Your mind getting the training not to fear. If you don't have fear to water, then you don't have any problem. When you're doing the training, what happens? All these fears about swimming go fade out. Then you are maybe some champion later on. But at the first day, it is very difficult. Horse riding, to become a pilot, horse riding, pilot, all the things we have to train your mind. When you are doing, before go to the job, all the professional studies, you are having some training period. Why is that? After lecturing all the things in the university, then you put in a training course. Why is that? Whatever the theory, you have to do practically. Then only you can learn, and you are removing all these fears and shame and guilt and all the whatever the negative thoughts. So by doing practicing, you can remove these things. That's the in Tripitaka, how to do this practice. Middle discourse, what should and what should not be cultivated. This is a Tripitaka, the sutra. Sevitabba.
So this is Sevitabba Sutra. So this is how I understand the detailed meaning of the Buddha's brief statement. Sariputta proceeds to elaborate these 6 items in terms of what gives rise to the skillful and unskillful. I say that there are 2 kinds of sight known by the eye, that which you should cultivate and that which you should not cultivate. That's what the Buddha said. But why did he say it? You should not cultivate the kind of sight known by the eye, which causes unskillful qualities to grow, while skillful qualities decline. And you should cultivate the kind of sight known by the eye, which causes unskillful qualities to decline, while skillful qualities grow. I say that there are two kinds of sight known by the eye, that which you should cultivate and that which you should not cultivate. That's what the Buddha said, and this is why he said it.
Do you know what's the skillful qualities and unskillful qualities? Kusala, akusala, merit and demerit. Merit and demerit. Skillful qualities mean good side. That means to the top of the frequency chart. If someone has unskillful qualities, that means he is toward the bottom side. If someone has shame, fear, guilty, fear, apathy, and all the negative, hateful thought, it is a unskillful qualities in Buddhism. If you want to practice skillful qualities, you have to get rid of this hateful thought first. Then go to greed, and then you have to get rid of greed. Then you have to go to the absence of hate, delusion, and greed. Then you have to go to the dhyana. So, did you understand unskilled and skillful qualities mean? Do you know what it is? If you have a lot of hateful thought, that means unskilled qualities are very high. Then you have to practice the skillful qualities, mean you have to get rid of these unskillful qualities, hate, fear, shame, and all the negative thoughts. Did you get that done? It's okay?
I say that there are two kinds of sound known by the ear, two kinds of smell known by the nose, two kinds of taste known by the tongue, two kinds of touch known by the body, two kinds of idea known by the mind, that which you should cultivate and that which you should not cultivate. That's what the Buddha said. Why did he say it? You should not cultivate the kind of idea known by the mind which causes unskillful qualities to grow while skillful qualities decline. And you should cultivate the kind of idea known by the mind which causes unskillful qualities to decline while skillful qualities grow. I say that there are two kinds of idea known by the mind, that which you should cultivate and that which you should not cultivate. That's what the Buddha said, and that is why he said it. So that's how I understand the detailed meaning of the Buddha's brief statement. Good, Sariputta. It's good that you understand the detailed meaning of my brief statement in this way.
How this hateful, shame, fear, guilty are come to you? Without any trigger, it is come to you? Never. Without any trigger, it's not come to you. Then here they are explained about what are the triggers. That may be a visual form, sound, taste, touch, something, external things come to you. Then only this unskillful and skillful are come to in your mind. Suppose that if you take this example, for him, suppose if you are fear to the dog, if someone is fear to the dog, so if the dog is there, only he is getting that hateful thought. Only there is dog. That visual form, we want to, that sight, he want to see this dog. Then only triggering these things. Then whatever the trigger you make hateful things, you have to face to that one, and what you have to do? Get rid of this all the unskillful qualities. Unskillful qualities mean hate, fear, and hateful thought. Do you follow what I mean with the example? May you do above practice at least for 6 months. For more than 3-4 months, you have to do practice then only you can, your mind become a day by day, you are going to the skillful side. That means from the frequency chart, you are go up or down? Up. So you have to get rid of down path, you have to get rid of the down path, cease, and then you go to the top. Then from the top, then you can do the dhyana meditation. Then the second stage of meditation. First of all, you have to do this practice and get this very bulky, hateful thought. If someone has shame, that's the biggest unskillful quality, biggest one. If you go to the frequency chart, there's a bottom 20. That's what you have to practice. So, did you take this even photo of this frequency chart? Yes, you keep and see where are you now, where are you now? Then you can climb up to top. That's I took only 3 sutras from Tripitaka and explain everything. Even if you read this all the Tripitaka, that's all. All the senses, that's all. I get the only sense of these things. This is called mindfulness meditation. Then if you practice these things, at the end of 6-7 months, what happened? You don't have any hateful thought. You don't have fear, shame, apathy, and what are the negative thoughts? All these negative thoughts are away from you. All the hateful thoughts are away from you. Then you are at the top 600 or 540. You are always very joyful life. So what you have to do? You have to remove these negative thoughts. To remove this negative thought, you have to do practice. Without practice training, you can't get rid of this negative thought. That's what you have to do. To see where are you, you have to do the chakra test. You go to the Google and do the chakra test, and then you can get the. Then this guy is explaining very good YouTube video. If you go to the emotional frequency chart, if you type the emotional chart, then there are a lot of videos, but his one is very good to learn something. Did you get something from today's session? This is the second stage. After practicing this one for few weeks or month, then we have to go to the karmasana to chant. There is a problem because all the karmasana are Sinhala and Pali. That's the very biggest problem. I don't know how to solve that one. One thing I had done earlier for the non-Sinhala devotees, I explain this everything in what the meaning of this one. Because each and every karmasana, they have same meaning. Same meaning with different word. So after understanding of the meaning, if we chant in Sinhala or Pali or some any language, you want to think only about this meaning. Then you are go to the dhyana. That's what we did. I don't know. Then we have to discuss and see what can we do. There's a chanting. I show you one chanting. Etang santang etang panitang yadidang sabba sankara samato sabbupadi pati nissango tannakayo virago nirodho nimbananti. Likewise, we are chanting. The meaning of this phrase is, if you, the main coolest, happiest thing in the world, if you cease, detach from hateful, lustful, delusional thought and abhisankara. Abhisankara, same thing. And if you detach from this existence, that is the main happiest place. Then you have to keep on thinking about this feeling. Then you are go to the dhyana. If you are detached from hateful thought, is that good or bad? Good. If you detach from delusional thought, it's good. If you detach from greedy thought, that also good. Then you have become calm. The calmness is very good. That's a sense. That's the word. All the Pali words are saying the same thing. Then while we are chanting, you have to keep on thinking. If you can chanting. Even you also, little by little, you have to train to chant. This is what I have done earlier. I don't know, are there any possibilities to convert into English and chanting? Because it's beyond my abilities, that's the thing. If I can do that, already I have done. But there should be very nice English knowledge and chanting knowledge, or there should be the rhyme. Everything should be there, meaning should be there. I don't know how to do that, and then we have to think and do whatever, something. මොන ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? කීප දේවල් තේරෙනවද? ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? Do you have any question or? Did you understand something?
With the karmasthana hamdane, I think you can do the same thing. එකම දේ කරන්න මොකද මගේ හතර දැන් පුරුදු වෙනකන් මට කිසි දෙයක් තේරුන්නේ නැහැ. එකම දේ අනිච්ච දුක්ඛ අනාත්තයි බෞද්ධ කරනවා කියන එක විතරයි මෙනෙහි කරේ. ඒක හැබැයි ඒක වැඩිලා.
ඒක තමයි. The words are not a matter, only meaning is a matter. If you know real meaning, that's enough. But chanting it may be different word. What you have to do, you have to come to one day program and see. You also can come to one day program that tomorrow also there, or next month you come to that program and see whether it is work for you, or if you have any problem then you can tell us. Then all the things what we are chanting is same meaning. If you get rid of this lust, hateful and delusion, you are in a very happy state. That happiness is called Nibbana. Nibbana. The supreme bliss. That's what we have to keep on thinking. Do you have any problem in any other problem? So can you do you want any yeah.
Just going back to the frequency chart, I was recently reading somewhere that they say we are what we eat. So when we eat meat, when the animal is dying, it goes through a lot of trauma and just negative emotions, and then when we consume that, we are basically taking all of those vibrations in us. I just want to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, there are some very small effect is there, very small. Suppose that after eating of the meat, after digesting, so everything goes on, finish. But if you have hateful thought in mind, that's forever. The biggest thing is not the fish or meat or something, your thought. You have to keep on removing this, all the hateful thought first. Then go to the greedy thought. Then you can go to the dhyana. because that after a couple of hours, that all the things are digesting and finish. That's not a big issue, but there are some small issues, not 100% pure. If you can eat vegetarian, good. Yeah, but that's not a must. It's a better. Any other question?
I have a
question.
In that category of hateful thoughts.
Yeah.
I noticed that sometimes there will be triggers in life where I would feel that sense of unworthiness. And you gave an example about fear of, like, say, a dog or something, and you slowly learn
Do
get
that
close
one.
to it. But when you feel unworthy, how do you...
Unworthy of what?
Unworthy of being...
Yourself?
Yeah, loved. Because I think it's associated with my childhood, like growing up, and my relationship with mum. I noticed that coming up, like, in my relationships with close friends, with my partner, actually with anyone really, but maybe the effect of it is less. I can forget about it if it's a stranger, but if it's someone that's close to me, it triggers it a lot more. It stays with me for a lot longer. I'm just keen to know, how do you move close to not feeling that unworthiness?
How to get rid of the unworthiness? Then all these practices are doing in close environment. That means with the very protective environment. Suppose that if you are practicing to get rid of, example, as a fear of dog, then you have to select some not a very dangerous dog. There should be someone who can understand these things. If someone is facing to this one, he may his emotion, we are taking his or her emotion to top of the mind. Then if this amount of emotion is very high, what happens? It may be collapse. So these are very slowly, very little by little we have to do. It's not a hurry. If you do hurry, all the process will become other way around. Can you understand? Yeah. In such a case, first of all, since this is your very personal thing, very personally, you have to tell it to someone. Someone will not to the normal person who can understand these things. First of all, you have to understand. Then you have to get what's the reason for happening to you. Why there are some other people so they don't have such a problem, but you also only you have problem. Why is that? Then you have to reason out why is it that. For that kind of thing, karma is effect. Then you have to understand what's the karma. Karma means energy. How this karmic energy happen? How these are working? These kind of things also come to you. Suppose in some families, mother and father, there are two daughter and son. One is worthless for them, some is very worthy. Then what is happening? Then that kind of thing, first of all, you have to understand. Then you can tell it to someone. And other thing is, you can get too relaxed with the breathing, and you can convert these things the other way around. That's really a counseling session. The first of all, you are very, very personal, you have to tell it to, not in the front of the others. This all the personal matters we have to discuss in personally and sort it out. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. Any other? So when you
she has a question.
Can you tell me?
Yes. Last session, you sorry, my English is very bad.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
The last session, you taught us happiness, getting happiness is how can I say? What I want to know is definition is happiness, because for what the happiness is, because like relief of feeling or could be lots of, could be different for each person.
The happiness is if someone is lustfully attached with visual form, sound, smell, taste or something, the pleasurable feeling in his or her mind is called as happiness. This happiness is created only by lustful attachment. The effect of the lustful attachment is happiness. If you are not attached in the lustful, you don't have any happiness. That's why if you attach hatefully, you are suffering. You are burning, negative thought. Only the lustful attachment create the happiness.
But the question came up, the session name was relative happiness and relative happiness and absolute happiness.
Absolute happiness.
The question is like, what's this absolute happiness is?
Absolute happiness means if you are creating the happiness with lustful, hateful, delusional thought is relative. If you can create the happiness without lustful happiness, lustful delusion and hateful thought, then those are called as dhyana. First, second, fourth dhyana. Then also happiness is there. That happiness is not due to the attachment to the worldly matter. You are detaching from the worldly matter and get the happiness. That is called dhyana happiness. It's called absolute happiness.
The question came up and they're like, then how do we in our day-to-day life live happily without attaching much to external objects? We can tell the experience you get.
No, you can use or you can do anything. But even though attached or not, we can do anything. No. But doing and using is not a problem. If someone is attaching, then this suffering comes to you. That's why we are detaching. Without suffering, we can use this old world. We can do anything without suffering. The suffering is creating only from this attachment. That's why we are detaching. Cessation. There is a reason. Thing is, everything is insatiable. We should detach, no any option other. There are no any other option. Because this all the happiness and that these gratifications are mental fabrication. You can't gain from the outside world. So without attachment, there are no any answer to that one. Then you are very absolutely happy. The absolute happiness is there are no suffering. The no suffering means they are happy.
She had some experience, like some understanding of Dhamma, analyzing this thing like this morning, and she said she felt like very relief, and she asked me, "Is that much some happiness?" That's some question we had, like that relieving feeling we have.
Yes.
What is it?
Yeah.
That relieving feeling.
Yeah. If you after listening to this Dhamma, there are some happiness. That's called dhyana happiness. Yeah. When you are detaching also, there are happiness. So you are detaching, and with the wisdom, you can have some absolute happiness. That's a good thing. That's not giving you any suffering. Without suffering, you can enjoy that one.
And the question, Bhante, was like the feeling of relief, like
Yeah. That relief is also a happiness. Yeah.
It's also a happiness.
That's a good one. That's what you have to use. That's what you have to use. Yeah.
I have a question. Like in Buddhism, what's the wealth? What's the wealth, and how can someone be rich? Like, what's the definition for that? What's the wealth?
For if you ask this question, saddha, virya, sati, samadhi, prajna. Saddha means if you are very attached to this Dhamma, saddha. Sati means if you keep your mind focusing to detaching. If you have 4 dhyana, samadhi, if you have wisdom about the 4 noble truth, it's called prajna. These are the words. Any question? Okay, then shall we stop? When you are doing practicing these things, we have to some control environment. Suppose that if you want to practice karate, when you're doing training karate, why you are practicing karate? Karate, kung fu, any martial art, why you are practicing? Self-defense. That means if someone comes and try to kill you or rape you or doing something, we want to save our life. To save, what you can do? Before that incident come, you have to be ready. Then suppose that for that one, what we can do, other ways there. So when you go to the shopping also, you ask someone to, okay, shall we fight? And likewise, if you try to practice these things, what happens? When you go to the shopping also, oh my good, okay, you come and fight with me. And you ask from few people and fighting on the road and everywhere. Then what happens? Is that a proper way or not? Not the proper way. That's not the proper way. Then how to practice? You go to the class. Then there are some known guys also there, some masters also there. And there also we are fighting with some guy. But we don't have any hate. When you go to the Kung Fu class, we are fighting. We are beating each other, hitting each other. But there are no any hates. Without hate, we are training. Then, if your real situation come to you, then also you can do the same thing. Then can you understand? Then when you train in this Kung Fu or Karate or something, what you are doing? Your mind is trained to not to fear. That's what we are training. If you don't have fear, then you can fight with anyone. Suppose that if you go to the karate class, that master is showing that, okay, this is the one step. Then he is training little different type of steps. So when you go to the real life, then the people are hitting you the way you learn or different way. But if you have training, what you are doing? You are removing all this fear. Then when the real situation comes to you, when someone hit, what's the problem for you? If you have too much fear, you are your mind is not working properly. If you are fearless, what happened? When someone's hitting, you can defend. Can you understand? So likewise, you have to, like a training of karate or driving, likewise, we have to, with the known person, we have to train this one. And unless, suppose that for the driving, you want to train a driving, you get the car key and go and get the vehicle and go to the highway, and if you try to train that one, what happened? It's end of life. That's end of life. So we are not doing the such thing. You have to keep some trainer, known one, master, and little by little, you have to remove all these things. So when you are doing the practicing, you have to be careful with the situation, because you are very fear, shame, guilty, and you are very negative to do these things. But without practicing, you can't remove that one. But when you practicing, you have to practice proper way. Unless you may make a very big mistake and make the things worse. Can you understand? But Buddhism also tells that visual form, sound, and everything we have to use. Suppose that if someone is fear when some horror film sound come, then they also know which type of sound people are very fear. Then they have added this music and everything. Then if he is listening, he is fearing. Then that sound, you don't want to get rid of this fear. But at one time, if you exposed to very big amount of this fear, you may crack, you may finish. So little by little, you have to do and practice and remove these things. Yeah, that's the main requirement for when you are doing practice.
Summarize a little bit. So I'll briefly summarize what Thero finished off with. So when you look at that emotional frequency chart, once you've done the chakra test, if you find yourself, or if you find any of your lower chakras are blocked, what that means is you are lying in the lower frequencies and living in some form of hatred. It could be anger, or anxiety, or sadness, frustration. It could be anything. Any form of that would be hatred. So to get yourself off from hatred onto the next stage, which is the better frequency, what you need to do is, as Thero was explaining, as Tripitaka, the Buddhist text showed you, is to do certain practices. So what Thero is saying is, sometimes you might have these hateful thoughts and feelings inside you, but you wouldn't identify those. You won't be able to identify those emotions yourself unless there is a trigger in front of you, or unless you are encountered with a certain situation. You wouldn't know that you have that fear or the frustration or the anger inside you. So you will be hiding that negative thought inside you, thinking that you don't have it. That's not because you don't have it, but that's solely because you haven't encountered with that particular situation that would give rise to that negative thought or negative emotion. So the best way to get all those negative thoughts and emotions to the surface, address them and push them away from your life, is to create situations and face situations, bring them to the surface, and then practice certain practices, deal with them, and then remove those negative emotions completely. So what Thero is saying is, when you do these certain practices to get those negative emotions out, make sure to do those in protective environments with a teacher or a practitioner who will be able to guide you, so that that setting will make sure that you don't step into another dangerous situation. Just like practicing with a dog to get your fear away from the fear of the dog, you won't get a dog who will just end up biting you or just sort of, doing something dangerous, but you'll be doing it in a controlled setting. Exactly the same way, keep practicing, keep doing these things. So you will see along the way that some of the emotions that you thought you didn't have will surface, come to the surface. You address it with dealing with those situations. And then that way, those negative emotions will go away from you permanently from your life, and that will help you to get to the next frequency in the frequency chart until you get to the dhyana meditations and start practicing those. Does that make sense? All right. Any other questions you have for Thero?
Okay, then shall we stop?
All right. Thank you so much for today. So I hope you learned something from what Thero has described for the last few hours. If you do have any questions, please pass those questions to us through WhatsApp. There's a WhatsApp group. And hopefully we'll have another session like this, and then we can step in to take you to the dhyana, which is the trances. But until you get to that stage, we highly recommend that you practice these day-to-day things so that you'll identify, like we said, those negative things, remove those things from your life, and then you can step into the dhyana practices quite soon. Thank you so much.
If you like, you can come to that monthly program and just listen, and you just chanting what we are chanting, and whatever the chanting we are doing, the meaning is same. What's the meaning? Away from lust, hate, delusional thought is very nice. That's all. If you get rid of this lustful, hateful, delusional thought, that's called Nibbana. Nibbana definition is that one. So we are taking this as a good, nice thing. Etang santang, etang panitang. What's the very nicest thing in the world? If you get rid of this negative thought. That's all. While we are chanting, you also have to try to chant and keep on thinking, this is what I am thinking. This is what I am chanting. So if we, other thing is, you have to convert into the English chant with the rhyme. Well, if you can't chanting, it's so difficult. It should be chantable. That will get some times until you are getting the English karmasthana. You can choose this Pali karmasthana, Sinhala karmasthana, get the dhyana. That's what they have to do.
Yeah, one thing to add to that is, don't probably be disheartened by the language, because my personal experience is I never understood any of the karmasthana, but I got to the dhyana trances just by thinking about the thought. So I think if you get the thought in English, listen to what Thero is saying and chant with him, but run that thought in your mind, that will help you probably.
There are some other things also when, because I have understood everything and I have done dhyana. When I am there, I am distributed all this Dhamma. Dhamma means very fine-tuned particle. That means like a electromagnetic wave. When you are uploading through a YouTube or Facebook, so this is a phone. This is your phone. We are uploading this session to the internet. Then from the phone, what they are emitting? Electromagnetic wave. Likewise, this all the persons, when they are keep on thinking, we are emitting some aura. Aura, do you know? Aura, A-U-R, aura. Aura. We are emitting the aura. So while I am there, since when you are chanting, I am emitting the Nibbana Dhatu aura. Then that's help you to create your dhyana state. There are some external, some influence to you to go to this path. If you do the alone with the recording or something, it's not that much of effect. If I am there, you are too effective. That I am emitting this, all these good auras to you, then with this aura and you create the mind to go to the dhyana. It's very easy. Yeah. You come and practice, then you can understand. 9 days program, if you can come 9 days program, better. Unless you can one day you come and see what happened. Yeah. On the way,